my god, did I love the Great Muppet Caper. For my money, this is as good as the Muppet movies get. Just a delightful, zany adventure with non-stop incredible gags and a genuinely really sweet emotional core. I had an absolute blast with it. So many running jokes in this are just gold. Like the one where everyone considers Kermit and Fozzie to be identical twins. That takes me out every time. I love whenever the Muppets get flung out of something like a bus. Dude, that is such a funny visual. Oh, and Miss Piggy on the motorcycle, don't even get me started. Oh my god. And the pizza bit? Come on! And the joke about the guy not being out with his wife. Oh, that would have gone way over my head as a kid. It was so funny. Oh, and that guy on the bench who just gives that crazy story. What was that about? I feel like I could just incoherently babble about everything I find hilarious in this movie for days. Just take my word for it. It's one of the most consistently hysterical Muppets films. But that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of why I love this movie. It also gives us a super lovely and adorable depiction of Kermit and Miss Piggy meeting each other and falling in love. Honestly, this might be my favorite film in terms of how it depicts their relationship. I mean, it's also my favorite film in general because of the, you know. But for Kermit and Miss Piggy 2 is also number 1. It got both categories, yay. I adored how nervous they acted around each other, how Miss Piggy was so insecure that she broke into and pretended to own the house of famous Monty Python and Shrek 2 actor John Cheese. I like their argument a lot too. Despite how absurd the dialogue was, the overall vibe of the scene was surprisingly natural, and I really liked how they reconciled afterwards. Like I said, without a doubt my favorite depiction of their relationship in any Muppet movie. Before I get to my favorite part of the film in general though, I should go over my only real issue with it. I don't necessarily know if the caper in the Great Muppet Caper was as focused on as it could have been. As good as the Kermit and Miss Piggy stuff is, it takes up a lot of focus in the middle, and you kind of forget there's a heist the gang needs to get to the bottom of. I was really interested in the heist plotline. I liked the rich lady who lost her diamonds a lot. I would have liked if she had more screen time. And that goes double for the villain. There's such a funny conceit behind him. The idea that he's madly in love with Miss Piggy, but can't let that get in the way of his heist. That's great, but there just isn't nearly enough of that, or him, in the film. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this might be the one movie that would be improved if they added a love triangle. The idea of Kermit and this real human competing for Miss Piggy's affections is such a hilarious idea that they really should have played into more. It would give you much more of a reason to root against him. I mean, there is enough there already, I guess, but I just felt like he should have been a more prevalent character throughout the narrative. He doesn't even show up until the halfway mark in the film, after all. But this isn't really a huge complaint. And we do eventually get all the fun heist shenanigans in the last act. So it's not too bad that they kind of take a back seat for a while. But the greatest part of this movie, in my opinion, has to be its musical numbers. The movie in general just feels like such a loving tribute to classic Hollywood musicals. And I was ridiculously enchanted by The First Time It Happens and Piggy's Fantasy. They're amazingly shot and choreographed. And I love the fact that this movie doesn't fall back on the excuse that, oh, this is just a goofy Muppet movie, so we don't really need to try that hard with the presentation. No, man, I'm dazzled by the way the humans move just as much as the way the Muppets move, which seems like an unnecessary element to achieve, but it makes the film stick out way more. These Muppet movies are so damn committed to the bit, and I think that's truly incredible. Of course, the more Muppet-centric musical numbers are also fantastic. I had a huge smile on my face during Hey, a Movie and Happiness Hotel. The music and lyrics are strong, and the energy is abundant and infectious. What a picture. I do wish the story was a little bit better balanced between rom-com antics and the actual caper plot, but I genuinely don't think there was a single moment in this film where I wasn't enjoying myself. This one is fantastic. Easily my pick for the absolute best Muppets film.